finally October. Things have cooled down, the sweet smell of dead leaves are starting to fill the air. What are you doing? Wait, no, stop!
Hey, back off, AJ. This one's mine. VR horror games are one of our favorite things here without Parole. There's just nothing more rewarding than overcoming your fear and surviving the night full of ghosts, creatures, and Jack Baker who are all out to get you. I mean, they are just games, but some really like to test your wits under pressure. So get ready, and if you're pregnant, underage, or have a serious heart condition, you may want to avert your eyes, because these are the top 10 scariest PlayStation VR games.
I have so much to show you. Benjamin!
From Ubisoft Entertainment and Elijah Wood's studio SpectraVision comes a psychological thriller about you trying to figure out what's happened to your family after a mad scientist's obsession with the afterlife has taken over. Transference is only about 2 hours long and errs on the side of disturbing more than scary, and the story eventually takes a fascinating and unexpected turn.
Ben, can you hear me?
From the makers of The Exorcist, Legion VR, A Chair in a Room GREENWATER has you waking up in a psychiatric institute, and you'll have to piece together memories by solving a series of eerie puzzles. Rather than relying on jump scares, it draws you in with its dark, creepy atmosphere. It can be completed in just a few hours, but its realistic graphics, tangible world, and well-written story make for a truly surreal experience.
It all feels so alive.
Here They Lie is a hidden gem nobody should miss. Trekking through the first hour is so terrifying that once you leave the outskirts and enter the city, you'll actually be somewhat relieved, despite being exposed and vulnerable to its sick and disturbed denizens. Essentially more of a walking simulator than anything else, Here They Lie does offer an interesting story, quite a few stealth elements, and a bizarre twisted world that'll keep you on your toes, from beginning to end.
Everything runs downhill here. If you go deep enough, the city forgets it's a city.
Based off the popular series of movies, Paranormal Activity: The Lost Soul will have you wandering around a haunted house aimlessly, attempting to unlock each locked door to see what's hiding within. What starts off as a fairly generic horror game with creepy sounds and banging doors quickly escalates into a terrifying adventure worthy of the Paranormal Activity name. There are plenty of heart-stopping moments which build and build until eventually all hell breaks loose, leaving you scrambling for an exit that simply doesn't exist. If you're wondering where classic light gun rail shooters have gone, Rush of Blood brings the genre back and might be the best horror-themed one ever made. Whatever you're afraid of, Supermassive Games has your number, with level after level featuring pretty much every atrocity you can think of. From clowns and spiders to ghosts and killers, Rush of Blood takes you for a literal roller coaster ride through a haunted theme park. You may have guns to protect yourself with, but you have to get over the jump scares and paralyzing fear to use them properly. Hidden gems are usually games that are great, but no one ever talks about. And with DREADHALLS, it's almost as if the developers never wanted anyone to ever play it at all, as it's hidden in a collection of pretty terrible PSVR games called HeroCade. Luckily for the price, it's worth picking up for DREADHALLS alone. Most of what you're doing here is running for your life, but the amazing sound design and simple yet effective mechanics make that harder to do than it seems. And once you complete the 3 main story paths, everything from that point on, including enemies and levels, are randomly generated, so you'll never know what's going to happen next. Stealth is something that works extremely well in VR. You feel the tension more when you're actually creeping behind desks and hiding in lockers from something that's dead set on trying to kill you. Home Sweet Home is a Thai-inspired horror game where you go searching for your missing wife, but the search quickly backfires as you find yourself in twisted versions of familiar places, infested with deadly spirits. Clever puzzles punctuate each new location, but with no way of protecting yourself, you have to be on high alert at all times. With a unique take on the genre, Home Sweet Home is one of the best and most intriguing horror experiences on PlayStation VR. Firesprite Games delivers a sci-fi horror roguelike with the persistence that's full of stealth, action, and plenty of scares. As your ship slowly gets pulled into a black hole, your only chance for survival is to fight your way, floor after floor, through hordes of mutated crew members. Each time you die, you're offered the chance to learn from your mistakes and upgrade certain stats, as you slowly get strong enough to take on the dangers lurking around every corner. Upgrading your weapons and abilities as you see fit means you can play this game however you want, but that doesn't make it any less scary.
For you to help you get settled in on your first night.
As a formerly mobile and PC game, we never knew much about Five Nights at Freddy's before it came to PlayStation VR. But with the headset on, completely immersed in the world of Freddy Fazbear's security office, you're vulnerable to attacks from all sides at all times. All you can do to survive each night is solve puzzles with perfect timing and execution. The jump scares may eventually wear off, but the tension never ceases, as it's all up to you pulling off the right strategy before being caught by deadly Chuck E. Cheese-inspired animatronics. There's no doubt about it, PSVR is the scariest way to experience Scott Cawthon's terrifying vision. Before we reveal the #1 scariest PlayStation VR game, here's a few honorable mentions. There's a 50-50 chance of running into some major bugs, but if you're lucky or willing to replay certain chapters, The Exorcist Legion VR is a short but bone-chilling experience that'll make you question the existence of demons.
Phil.
Don't let the first hour of Uncharted-like gameplay fool you. Immortal Legacy: The Jade CIPHER quickly takes a sharp turn once you enter the caves, and from that point on, it's pretty damn scary. Don't pay $20 for a haunted house that doesn't even scare you. Instead, check out Affected the Manor for less than half that price, with twice the scares that only a VR game can deliver. For years, the Resident Evil series had gotten away from its survival horror roots, and seemingly forgotten how to build tension and scare gamers. But Resident Evil 7 BIOHAZARD is a true return to form, taking the classic formula and effortlessly placing it in the first-person VR, with some of the most realistic and fully realized environments we've ever seen. The simple act of opening a door to a new room was enough for me to frequently pause the game, force myself to take a few deep breaths, and utter the constant reminder, it's only a game. And when you consider I did this over and over for upwards of 14 hours my first time through, there's no denying that Resident Evil 7 is a VR horror masterpiece.